Yeah, whatever. Shoot, shoot. Masculinity, relationships, leadership, even sales. Mm. Top comments. How am I supposed to see that? How do you see comments? Apparently, some of you have made comments, but I can't see them. All right, guys, just keep coming. I'll figure it out. It's five. It's 5 months over. If she's left, it's 5 months over. If she let me, as me block the English, man. The English is not Englishing. Type it in again. The no rush. Type it in again. Okay. If a guy moves on after you guys break up, is it normal or is it disrespectful? I'm not gonna lie. Um, I think it's normal. I really think. I think if you guys have moved on, if it's done, then there shouldn't be a time frame on how quickly the person moves on. And I give you an example, right? So I work with this workshop facilitator who had a divorce, and yeah, so she had a divorce, been together with the guy for 20 years, and she's just accepted that there's just nothing that can be done from a 2 year relationship or 2 weeks. I think honestly, the truth of the matter is that we got one life to live, right? And you just, unless you guys had intentions of getting back, close that chapter. In fact, this is why I'm big on emotional intelligence, right? Like I said, so this person, 20 years, within 3 months, moved on straight away. And that's a 20-year relationship. So I think personally, it's really just down to, oh, hello on YouTube, guys. Me saludas. Yes, yes, yes. Um, so yeah, it depends on the dynamic of the relationship. Like there isn't a time frame on healing. Someone can heal within a week. Like respectfully with me, because of how much work I've done on emotional intelligence, I don't need to be dealing with grief or hurt that long. That's the whole point of being able to navigate your emotions. You can detach, connect, and use that to your advantage, right? So it's subjective, but I would say honestly, yeah, just try your best not to take it personal, and just it's got one life to live, man. Like you can't be dwelling over someone that's just moved on. It's honestly, it's like it's there, like they're probably sleeping and moving on, and then you're there frustrated at something that you can't control. It's just yeah, just let it be. Um, right, guys, you lot came in flooding with questions. She blocked me on Insta and WhatsApp and on MS. What do you think? 7 year relationship. Wolf. Yeah. If she, I think honestly, I believe in not forcing anything. Respect is high, should be very, very high. If someone has blocked you, it's because they don't want to speak to you, and you should honor that. Never, I think we've been misled into believing that, oh, yeah, you should apply pressure and you should really try to, get through to people. No, if someone wants to get through to you, you should make it very clear. You want to speak to me, we'll talk. If you don't want to speak to me, we won't talk. But there should be, in many 7 year relationship, there should be an attempt to sort of say, you know what, we owe ourselves a clear conversation where we can at least gain some clarity in what we've gone through. But after that, just say, yeah, honestly. Um, Low key, having a relationship is overrated. I'm married, bro, so uh, yeah, yeah. So I don't know how I can help you on that one. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's subjective again. I think um Do I prefer being single and being able to sleep with whoever I wanted? No, I think that's boring as well. I think that's overrated, but it's subjective. So yeah, I don't see as that was boring, man. That was boring. I was actually like having a kid running around laughing, then your wife. That's just like we just bond with and a legacy to build with. It just keeps you like one of my bedroom said. So I've got like a good network of people, right? And most of them are married fathers. And actually, we were saying how having that one wife to come home to just allows you to be hyper focused on what you actually want to do, right? So actually, I would say I'd beg to differ that actually you being in that position where you're you're in a relationship and you're focusing on that one person, not even just focusing, but you're focusing on your goal and you have that person supporting your goal, it's different, right? So I'd say that. Guys, hello on YouTube, guys. She blocked me on Insta. Yeah, I think I replied to that one. She left me. If she left me and blocked me, is it over? And she didn't. Yeah, leave it. Self respect. I said in my most recent video, self respect is fuel to a relationship. The moment you take that out of the equation, you're looking for a relationship to break down. You have to be in a relationship where you guys respect each other. It's if you want a healthy dynamic, I can't help you if you're not looking for a healthy dynamic. But if you're looking for a healthy dynamic, you guys need to be able to respect each other and respect each other's boundaries. So if she's blocking you, give her the space she needs. So real. He left me after. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, Chloe. Sorry to hear. Happy birthday to your mom, MacDowell. Yeah, so it's 5 months. Yeah, life is too short, man. Yeah. 5 months is too long. No way. Christ is king. Sure, absolutely. Um, he left me on an anniversary after. Keep saying he misses me, but it's avoid. Left me on anniversary. I did reply Honda. I said you should leave it. Yeah, I just said that now. Um, yeah, I think there needs to be clarity on both sides, Chloe. Um, I think I spoke about it today again. As in a relationship, you guys should both focus on healing your inner child so that you can expect to be dealing with an adult. Because the person that hasn't dealt with the inner child is still a child. Until you parent your inner child, you're still a child. I don't care what you've got going, deal with your inner child, and then I can see you as an adult. And that is because you've learned how to parent yourself and look after yourself. So I'd say focus on that first so that you can you can build a foundation that allows you guys to communicate and build a better relationship standard. Yeah, hope that helps. Whilst in a relationship, being friends with your exes whilst in a relationship, nah, I don't, I don't think that's healthy. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think that's healthy. I think, um, even if you trust your partner, right? I think boundaries need to be set with the type of people you've got around you. But that's my personal opinion. There's people that see it differently, and I'm open to debate or have an argument or hear their point of view. But I think if you guys were together and being friends, it's just too much, man. Just call it a day. Close the chapter, man. Close the chapter. Ended 5 weeks ago. She ignored me on iMessage and left it. You shouldn't. Okay, let me make something clear. The thing about power is that it just doesn't need to be demonstrated. It's just something you embody. Don't ask me if it shows power. Ask yourself if you feel powerful after you've done that. And not just ask yourself if you feel powerful, but you ask yourself, Have I embodied that about myself? Because the fact that you're discussing this after you've done it shows that there's still some sort of validation that you need. And power and validation do not exist, they cannot coexist. So if you're going to choose power, embody power and own it unapologetically, which means if she's if these are your boundaries, she didn't stick to them or whatever the case is, and now she's feeling like, okay, it's time for me to pull back. You say, listen, I respect your decision, and when you guys are ready to talk, we'll talk again. Listen, you know where I am. Reach out to me, or if you wanted to this to be the end. And obviously, it's subjective, right? I don't know your situation, but if you've done something or she's done something, then you guys just work around it and sort of see how you can build from there. But I would say power is embodied and not validated. What would be the main piece of advice you'd give me for being in a relationship 9 months in a row? 9 months in now. It depends on what your direction is, but what I would say is make sure that the relationship aligns with who you're becoming. And I spoke about it in my last live, but these are the 5 points I'll check for, right? So value, alignment. So value alignment, accountability, leadership, unhealed trauma, and emotional intelligence, right? So questions around these 5 topics that align with who you are and what you're doing, right? So yeah, I'd say that. What are your views on going back and trying again after some time apart? Again, does it align? I've seen couples, right, that divorced and then remarried a few years after. So I think, in fact, if you check the statistics, it's actually something that it's actually quite popular, and it's because people actually ended up doing the work on themselves and decided to figure out, oh wow, this actually was gonna work if I had just focused on this, right? So my thing is this: if it aligns, you've got the value framework and it aligns with where you're heading, then yes, do it. If it doesn't, then don't. Hope that helps. What is my skincare? TG Henley. Yeah, I actually exfoliated today, so it was good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, t- these guys on YouTube are just saying weird stuff. Yeah, no, not gonna even listen to that. No, not every day. I try to. I'm a dad and husband, man, and an entrepreneur. So I try to do my best. So I'm aiming for at least showing up once a week, but and then see how it goes from there. Is 5 months over? The moment she says I'm done, it's over. Your self respect, protect that. What's my advice on long distance relationships? Ooh, do you know what? It didn't work for me, but I know it's worked for others. And what I would say is, if I could go back, what would have made it work is having a deadline in mind. And when I say deadline is guys work towards a goal, right? So okay, he lives in wherever, you live wherever, and you say, okay, cool. By the end of the year, let's work towards this collective goal of meeting together. I mean, the relationship I've seen work long distance have had that definitely. They were quicker to get to the marriage stage, but that's because of course they had to be a lot more intentional because obviously the distance made it difficult. So I think if you're gonna do long distance, make sure that you're both intentional about building a effective life together. So hope that helps. But yeah, it's doable. It really is. It's just about just making sure that you guys are respecting each other's time frame. What didn't work for me is my ex was comfortable with that being a permanent thing, and I wanted that to be a temporary thing, something that we're working towards. You know, either moving on to whatever the case is. But when I clocked that it wasn't gonna be that way, I just said let's call it a day. Thanks. No problem. Should I keep dating a girl if she got everything I want in a wife, but she's not? Type to the T. There's no such thing as your type to the T. If listen, if and I've made a video about this, right? But think about it this way: if God could make, if Adam, sorry, could make Eve perfect, he would say, make sure this woman isn't swayed by any snake. But until it happened, he didn't know that would be the thing. So the idea of having this perfect person when we live as imperfect human beings is just unfair. And I think as long as you got the main non-negotiables, like as in your core identity and where you want to go and your vision isn't being compromised, you should 100% go for that person. And in fact, you should become the person that can align with most people, right? Like God forbid me and my wife break up. I know that I'm very self-sufficient. Same with her. Like we are both very, like, we are great partners, not just for each other, but we're also very healthy as a individual. Like as individuals, we're healthy. So we know that whoever we attract will also have to be on that healthy level, or just, don't come and disturb my peace. So I think despite your partner, you should work towards being healthy so that you guys can, the best environment is when both people are healthy. So I'd say that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, on Tik. Yeah, this is what I'm not answering. You guys are moving bad. Yeah, sorry, guys. Checking YouTube as well. Trying to be like, thank you. Appreciate that. Do you think someone should settle with a partner even if they're not sure the person's truly right fit for them, or keep looking on to find the right? I was. I'm glad you just asked that. I was just about to answer that, but I'm going to mention it again. You should not be focusing on finding the right person. You should be focusing on, the topic is relationships. You should be focusing on becoming the right person. Stop looking for the right person. You can't work on yourself by looking for the right person. You can work on yourself by focusing on becoming the right person, right? So, vision alignment, understand where you're heading, right? Then accountability. Can you be accountable as a person, and can you hold other people accountable? And can that person hold themselves accountable? That's a standard you guys should have, because you don't fall to your goals, you fall to your standards, right? Then you've got the value leadership. Can this person follow you? Can she trust your leadership when things are not clear, right? Then you've got, unhealed trauma. Has this person done the implementation she needs in order to deal with their trauma, right? And then you've got emotional clarity, right? And that's the main. Those are the main things I would say. All right. So with emotional intelligence, knowing how to deal with your emotions, understand and navigate, knowing how to, okay, cool, I feel the anger, utilize it in the gym, utilize it to write a book, utilize it to do something productive. Turn your emotions into productive actions. Ooh, that was a good one. That's a bar, write that down. Thank you, babes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, God, every day I've answered that one. Yeah, I hope that's answered that. Should I keep dating a girl? Should not. Yeah, but yeah, in terms of, yeah, you need to be very clear with your goals. Like, know exactly what you're looking for, but at the same time, looks. You're not marrying the looks. You're marrying the character. Obviously, you want your child to be, have good shots at life, because obviously, naturally handsome, pretty people get more opportunities. So obviously, you have to bear that in mind. But in terms of character, that's what you're actually going to be dealing with. So I'd say the looks are probably like maybe 25% max. That 75%, that's what you need to be focusing on. Do you think when a girl said once it's over 100% over, or is she speaking sometimes from her emotion? Um, that's a good question. When a girl says once it's over, is it 100% over, or is she speaking sometimes from her emotions? Um, I don't think you should try to dissect it. I think you should meet people where they're at. I think you should create an environment where she now has to be very careful about the things she says, because you're someone that takes their words serious, you're gonna take her words serious. Because the problem is, if she now says things that she doesn't mean and you allow that to be the case in a relationship, what tends to happen is you're gonna get, like, for instance, there's certain things my mom used to say to me that she then come back and apologize and say, I didn't mean that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then my dad would say, yeah, just that's fine. But with my wife now, we don't do those things. We're very intentional about her words. So just because, like, being emotional doesn't mean you shouldn't be emotionally intelligent. Like, I don't think emotionally intelligent has no gender. As long as you have access to your emotions, you should be, and you call yourself an adult, you should be 100% able to deal with them. Like, we've grown in a generation where they've told us so much messed up. Like, we've got one side that's telling us, oh, suppress your emotions, emotions are for weak people, and the other side, oh no, talk about your emotions and share them and let them send you home for 7 months or whatever the case is. No, learn how to handle them, regulate them, control them, and learn how to direct them accordingly. Like I said earlier, turn them into positive actions because you've acknowledged them, felt them, but most importantly, parented them. So I'd say build an environment where you don't have to guess whether she's being honest or straightforward. No, like, say what you mean, and don't. If you're not going to mean that, then don't say it. Okay, what would you say the difference between love and trauma bonding is? Sorry, one second. Okay, yeah. So, what would you say the difference between love and trauma bonding is? Trauma bonding comes from a place of lack. It comes from a place of familiarity. It comes from a place of unawareness of what your inner child is actually saying, whilst love comes from a place of abundance. You are so comfortable in your space that whoever's now coming inside that space can only complement and add value to it. But either way, you're good on your own, right? So the difference between the two is one has completed the work, and then the other one is hoping for someone else to match their imperfection. And those two are the difference between a healthy relationship or a problematic relationship that may not appear immediately because you get along, you feel like you're completing each other. But over the long run, especially one person starts to grow and the other person doesn't, you're going to start to feel the very big difference. If they refuse to do so, then they're not accountable. So that's a very big concern. Someone that refuses to grow, someone that refuses to acknowledge where they're going wrong isn't accountable. And that should be something that you're really, really scared to get yourself involved in. Because then you're gonna be dealing with someone that knows they're doing wrong but then refuses to change. And I can tell you for free, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why we have breakups. So yeah, if they're not willing to change, then that's a very big concern. But I would say before you get in that relationship, you should be committed to your growth. And the only reason I say that is because the moment you try to put blame on the other person, then you can't control the outcome. So, however, if you now focus on, okay, cool, I'm the cause of my change, so let me focus on what I can do differently, then that's when things start to move forward. So I hope that helps. I like your questions. You're holding it down in a messy, I don't know what's going on. YouTube is normally solid, but I don't know what these guys are doing, man. Yeah, whatever. What's the drama bond? Answer that. Where where were you when your friend was acting up? You give great advice. I'm here. I'm here. Who's my friend? Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. What if he's the right person but poor? All right, let's talk about it because I've never actually mentioned this. I've met millionaires that went homeless, and they went homeless for different reasons. Business went south. Money isn't what makes you rich or poor. What makes you rich or poor is your ability to understand how to generate wealth. And whoever's capable of doing that, if you now utilize their circumstance, right? And I don't know if you saw the video on the entrepreneur saying there's a entrepreneur, rich entrepreneur or broke entrepreneur. Because funnily enough, my wife can actually attest to this. When I first met her, I was broke. Like I literally got fired from my job the week when I met her. And I promise you, when that happened, I was like, God, why now? Now, why now? As in now that I found someone that I actually like. Why? Right? But I was honest. And I said, listen, this is my situation. Feel free to walk away. And I completely understand that. We started off delivering parcels together. Few months after, I flew her out. We went to Italy and then to Bali within 2 months, right? Then we got engaged. And then if she had just based it off, oh, he doesn't have money when I didn't have money, Lord knows what would have happened. But she probably wouldn't be married now. Maybe she's probably still looking for someone. I don't know. Whatever could have happened. Anything could have happened, right? But my point is this. There's a difference between someone that's poor and then someone that's broke. Because poverty comes from feeling like, oh, the world is against me, there's nothing I can do. And then there's someone that's, oh, I'm just going for a phase right now, and then I'll be back in no time, right? Because prior to that, the thing is that even as I said that, I was driving a German car. Like I had still, it's not like I was gone, I've lost all money. I just didn't have access to cash at the moment. And it's not even like I was jobless. That's the problem. But I think the problem is when you just base it off that person's circumstance and you fail to see the person behind it, that's how you get yourself intertwined. Because a lot of times what we do is we look at the circumstance and we judge them based on that, not knowing that the circumstance is the effect of the cause. So always look at the cause if you want to find out what the effect looks like. Hope that helps. Yeah, I don't know what Jay and I hope you guys become friends, man. Because honestly, even the fact you guys are still going, maybe you guys will become friends. I honestly believe that. I begged for someone. Yeah, never beg. Please, never beg. Like, was it Sully? Sully from, oh my gosh, you guys know what I'm talking about. Sully from, oh, someone help me. Sully from, Summer House, someone help me. Oh my God, Top Boy. Yes, Sully from Top Boy. He said never, don't beg, it's disgusting, man. Come on, never beg. Thank you. Men, look, never generalize. Chaka, don't never generalize. I think the moment we try to generalize, we fall into boxes where we have to label things this way, and if they're not this way, then ooh, that's strange. Let me just find a different box to put them in. Like, I think men love. I mean, yeah, it's fair to look at the data, right? But honestly speaking, I think the data is flawed because the people that are giving up the data are based on a specific criteria. I'm sure that sometimes when they check the statistics, they didn't call you out, they called someone and then someone else, and then that someone had a specific criteria. So we also need to understand where the data is coming from, right? So when we look at data, we should look at it as baseline to just have like a rough idea, but we shouldn't base it off as this is the Bible, because the truth of the matter is this: you're in charge of your story. You write the pen. No one, like if someone else says to Chaka, right? Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna drive a Lamborghini. Statistically, you enter a new bracket. No one's asked for your date or nothing. You just decided to do that because you're in charge of your own pen. So the truth of the matter is that you're in charge of your story. Just use statistics as an idea of what's going on out there. But I wouldn't say that's a problem. I think it's generally what's really going on at the moment is people are confused. People are not aware of the fact that you're going out there thinking you're an adult, not knowing that until you connect the dots with your inner child, you're still a child. And so we got children in adults' bodies making big decisions, and this is why we're having the results we're having. So it's a very, very, it's a lot of work to do, but it starts from within. So you can become the best person for your future wife. Yeah, exactly. Do you believe in love at first sight? Oh, is that a trick question? By the way, Marilyn's my wife, so do you um I believe you can have an emotion. You can have a very, very strong emotion for that person, especially if that person makes you feel seen, valued, or just appreciated. So, yes. Do I believe that should be the deciding factor? No. I think you should still use the values factor to make a clear decision, because what we done actually, Marilyn, is we use both logic and emotion to believe that this was the right decision. So it wasn't just a, oh, wow, this person makes me feel amazing. No, no, this person actually aligns with where I'm going. This person has accountability. This person can respect leadership. This person is has gone through therapy or is dealing with their trauma, and this person has emotional intelligence. So that's when you just, that's when you start doing that. Do you know what, guys? I apologize. I'm trying. God, oh, I'd realistically, yes, Salvo. What's going on? How do you know when to make your girl if you find about having a girl on first? Um, how do you know how to make your girl when it aligns, right? So if it aligns, waste no time. I found my wife 2 weeks in, became my girlfriend. Within a year, she became my wife, and I haven't looked back since, right? But prior to that, I was in a 3 year talking stage. Why? Because it didn't align and something was off and I couldn't commit. So once you find the right person, you got one life to live. There's no time frame. I can't say to you, oh yeah, in 6 months' time or 3 months' time. No, do it when you believe you're ready, because you're the leader of your life. So be in charge of your decision and own them. But this is why it's key for you to understand where you're going and why you're doing what you're doing. This is why I always say to anyone, build your strong foundation first, because that's what's going to build your house. That's what's going to build your relationship. That's what's going to build your children. In my last relationship, the flame just burned out at some point for me, but the other person was loving me. I ended it because nobody should love without being loved back. Was that cruel or right? Ooh, that's very mature. That's a very mature approach. But this is the thing: the idea of a flame as a married man is very, it comes and goes. And the reason why I say that is because there's gonna be times where you're gonna have difficult season with your partner. Just because the flame is gone doesn't mean that you shouldn't love your partner. Like your children, right? You're gonna have children with them. Your children are not always going to be this bubbly thing that you love all the time, especially as they grow up. Sometimes their decisions are just gonna make you feel like, I don't even know why I did this. But what's gonna keep you grounded is the fact that you've decided to make that your partner. This is why the Bible says, or most religious institutions say, that you should commit, whether it's good or bad. So you're not in there. Your love isn't just an emotion. The emotion doesn't lead love, it's the choice. And the choice is empowered by the emotions you make. So just because you love that person and you feels good, that's part of it. But then there's going to be times where you still love that person and your emotions just have to follow slowly. They may not get there, but because you said, no, 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 guys, this is where we're going. This is our direction. We've decided to love this person. So I think the key is understanding that love is a choice, not a feeling of that comes and goes. All right. Can I repeat what, Marsha? Please explain that. Taking notes. Thank you. What's my skincare? TG Henley and a peaceful wife. Am I married? I'm married. I'm married. Thank you. Thank you. Is being with someone who has same personality as you important? No. And this actually goes back to what Paul Bronson said in his book and John Goffman as well. So they both said that the example they used was if you put two people on an island, they'll find a way to get along each other. They'll find a way to get along with each other. So the idea of compatibility of some personality actually stems from insecurity of having to explore how to navigate things with someone that's different. And because a lot of time we disguise insecurity as reason to feel like, oh, we should not deal with this thing. But actually, that should be the very thing that makes you curious. Like the people that thrive the best in relationship are not even the people with the same personalities. Because what you're really picking then is just a person, you're picking the same person with just different body parts. What you want to pick is actually someone that makes you curious about something you haven't learned. So they now talk about Pilates while you're talking about, I don't know, like bench pressing 200 kg, right? Which is exactly what me and Marilyn are doing. Like she's very big on food and I'm big on gym. And it's like, wait, isn't this, are you not supposed to both go to the gym? And when she tried to go to the gym, I said to her, babe, I love you, but please, gym is my environment. I need the gym to unleash my stuff. This is not, this is not right. It's like sometimes you thrive of being with someone that doesn't match your personality because you get to grow and you get to be curious about what the person does. I believe in God, yes. Am I still a delivery driver? No, no, no. I'm a I'm an international speaker. Do you believe in living with someone before marriage, even as a Christian? Oh, good question. Honestly, I think no. I think the thing is that we need to. I actually spoke about this in a podcast, which is coming up soon. Um, we utilize patterns to create stability, and we think that we can see the patterns over time. And the only reason why we can see them over time is because we're not asking the right questions. So instead of trying to figure out what the patterns look like, we try to understand what that person is like. We try to get to know them. And what we fail to realize is that we're actually just getting to know the person. We're just getting to know the person's patterns. So once you identify the patterns, which you don't necessarily need to see prior to marrying them, you can see that by asking the right questions. So it's just about understanding where to look. And it was a thing where um, the best way to describe it is this: like, okay, cool. What were you like with your ex, or what did you do wrong? You want to see someone's accountability. Okay, what happened with your ex? How did it end? And then they now say it's all his fault. He was a horrible person, and I done nothing wrong. I was innocent. Okay, but I asked you what you could have done differently, and the question is that nothing. I was perfect. Okay, so you're telling me that you're the perfect human being who was victimized because of what they witnessed. Sounds about either you have no space to grow or you potentially only get to see what other people do without seeing what you could be doing differently. Case of concern, maybe. And then you ask further questions in regards to that and then test based on that agenda. But my point is this. Hi. My point is this, right? You want to make sure that you understand the patterns. Yeah, that it's not even that I knew she was the one. I just knew that we aligned because once you get clarity on what you're looking for, all you need to do is answer the right question, like I just said. You see, the timing that we believe we need is just to identify the patterns. But if you can identify and clarify your idea on, okay, this is what I'm getting myself into before you get yourself into that, then the commitment becomes a lot easier. I don't believe people should settle, especially if the idea of settling is it's an interesting take because I don't believe people should settle. I think you should I think you should get into a space where you are very comfortable in your space. So whoever's coming into your space needs to either complement that space or move on. It's one of the two. Like it shouldn't be a thing where you shouldn't you shouldn't have to deal with someone that's gonna come into your space and reduce the value it already carries. Like with my wife, as much as I love her, right? One of the reasons why it was so easy for me to make the decision is because I was very comfortable in my space. So it was very easy for me to say to someone, do you know what? Let's call it a day, man. It's cool. I don't, let's, look, it's not going to work out. And when she came into the picture, it was like, oh, wow, my space is comfortable, but so is me around her. That's both, these are two comfortable spaces. So this works, right? So that's what I believe. Before you settle, I think you should find your peaceful ground because what tends to happen is people settle without having a peaceful ground and end up resenting that person they settled with, not knowing that they were responsible for setting that ground first. So I hope that helps. Guys, 3 minutes and then I'm gonna go. Guys, all this fake masculinity on YouTube, please stop this. You guys just there's no need to prove yourself. Embody masculinity. I don't know what this is. Okay, nice to meet you, Tommy. Nice to meet you, Tommy. Very good question. How did I see? Did I not see this? All right, I got 2 more minutes, guys. So I'm gonna ask two more questions. How does losing a mother at a young age affect a man's relationship in the long run? Mother wound. You're gonna struggle to receive. I'm an expert at that because that's what I experienced. Nah, this isn't asserting that dominance, man. This is you're moving. You're trying to prove too much. But sorry, let me answer you guys on. I don't know what TikTok. You guys are mature, man. I don't know what's going on YouTube. Too much testosterone pulled in the wrong reasons. Right. So yeah, like I said, I was an expert in that. So my mom, biological mother, left at the age of 7. So I was left with feeling like I had to earn love, and if I didn't earn it, then it wasn't real. And if it wasn't real, then I just didn't receive it. And where that left me is I built a lot of resilience in terms of sustaining a lot of nonsense from people, so which made me a people pleaser. And again, it was protected by my pride. So I was this person that could give relentlessly, but when it came to receiving, I just couldn't do it. So when it now came to the long run, again, it goes back to one of the videos I just posted today, but it's about understanding what your inner child is saying and giving him that reassurance that says you're safe now. You don't need to prove yourself as a child. Like no child should need to prove themselves. You don't need to prove yourself anyway, because the people that win don't prove themselves. This is why I think there's so much misconception out there. A lot of us get into success and want to like prove ourselves to people. And it's just like, no, you've got to embody it. Once people see that you believe yourself so strongly, they don't even need you to prove stuff. They'll just follow you because of how stern and strong you are in your beliefs, right? So believe in your stuff, but also look after that inner child so that you can speak to it and allow it to create the balance that allows you to receive and really just build from there. Where am I from? I was born in Italy, Nigeria, Igbo, and Benin. What do you talk about in a free talking stage? Honestly, very good question. I'm married. I don't know what that means. Can we do more charts on mother wounds in men? I'm quite aware of a lot as I've gone through trauma. Yeah, sure. I've actually done quite a few. I've done one I've done one today. But yeah, the point is this, right? Like, let me simplify it because I think sometimes we overcomplicate this. The whole point of your inner child is your inner child is still driving a lot of us. Like, our childhood is pretty much the foundation of a lot of the decision we make. Past perceived values, what we decide to do in life, our need to feel that we've kept our promises, right? So our childhood is our foundation. This is why it's so key for a healthy environment to be established by the parents. And if that isn't established by the parents, then it should be established by yourself. Now, number two is as you become an adult, it's about reconnecting to that inner child and learning how to parent him. This is why things like discipline are key, right? But most importantly, discipline with tough love and soft love. So, for instance, like I said, the inner child needs to feel safe. It needs to be acknowledged. Like when I went through my phase where I was discovering my inner child and understanding how to cater to it, the first thing I done is I hugged it and I said, I've got you now. And because of that, I decided to set boundaries. So whoever was going to come into my space had to respect that there's still a child in here and I'm going to protect that child. So I'm not just going to allow you to make me feel like I need to people please you. No, 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 no. Because that child is going to suffer because of my desire to please you. And respectfully, I don't even think you like yourself. So why should I make you like me? It doesn't work. We need to understand Jesus was literally crucified by the people he was trying to save. It's not, you can't make that up. It's just not feasible. Stop trying to be liked. It doesn't work. I think if there's anything you can learn from what Jesus done is forget trying to be liked. It doesn't work. Um, but yeah, so just connect with your inner child. Interesting. I'm talking about experience. I don't think many people please her. That's fair. That's fair. I think there's different ways to handle it, and I think in my case, my people pleasing wasn't very clear. It was more like I was given because I can give, but I was also willing to self-sacrifice in my giving because I didn't know how to receive. So it was more tailored towards being able to give and not receive. So I don't know if you're experiencing the same, but obviously it's not like every single person that's gone through Mother Wonder will experience the exact same thing because there could be different reasons for you experiencing what you experience, right? So it's just tailored to what your situation is. But I think the key is, however, in connecting with that inner child and giving it a voice and allowing it to speak and accompanying it as you're strengthening your journey as well. I think the main thing is what we've done in the past is we've suppressed it, we ignored it, and we acted like it doesn't exist. But now, a lot of us are acknowledging it, but we're also allowing it to run and dominate, and that's not the right approach either. So it's about parenting that inner child so that your emotions can be acknowledged, felt, but also guided and directed. Yeah. So yeah. All right, guys, it's been real. I have to go. I gotta go.